Remember the name of R.G. Ellie III 21 years ago when he was stopped by a municipal district heights police officer. The car was weaving. He was intoxicated. He was on his way home from his job in Virginia. He's very tall, and there's another picture on the back of there with him standing with me. Yeah, that one. And he was wearing only shorts, no shirt, was wearing tennis shoes. And he did everything the officer asked him to do when he was pulled over. He even had to lean against the trunk of the police car, and that's how sleepy and tired he was, because that's what he told the officer. And backup came along. It was a very hot day, and they subsequently handcuffed my son, put him in the front seat of a District Heights police cruiser with his hands behind his back, tinted windows rolled up, and I'm sure they did not leave that air conditioner on in that car, because the young white officer acted like he was so afraid of my son. And when I saw them, the black officer, Wayne Cheney, came up, and they stood there talking, saying, "He's got a gun, he's got a gun." And they fired 22 times. 22 times they fired. 14 bullets struck my son. And unlike the other lady, you could see the holes in my son's body. In the beginning, it was just my family who was going to the site where he was killed, and we held a prayer vigil there every 18th of the month. And the next day was always my birthday, because he was planning my birthday on the 18th, well, that night before he was killed. And, Father's Day came 2 days later. So that has occurred at least twice within those 22 years. My son's dead. I don't feel like celebrating my birthday. And his father says every time he sees construction workers, it just makes him so sad. And his father is a retired judge in Portsmouth, Virginia. Usually when something happens, I think all mothers want people to know that their sons were not just a statistics. They live for however many years they live. And we don't mind showing our pictures, but you can't get information from the police department. They don't really want to talk with you. And we just knew that the reason we didn't have any big rallies like we're having now is because everybody believed that those officers were going to be kicked off the force, that they would get some jail time. Because how can, if you search someone, you don't find anything, and later you allege that he has a gun? And the grand jury, I hate them. Grand juries don't do what they should do. I really don't believe that. And I wish there was some way that a law could come about that would change the grand jury system. I've heard several prominent attorneys say the same thing. So that's something we can work on. And also getting the police Bill of Rights changed, because in Prince George's County in Maryland, they have 10 days before they can say anything. So they get their stories together, and we are left wondering what happened. And at the time my son was killed, people heard what they thought was firecrackers, because it was so close to the 4th of July. And when in passing this little secondary road that everybody traveled a lot because they didn't want the main highway, they said, well, oh, those are firecrackers. And then they saw the yellow tape up later. So and they said it took a long time for the fire station to get there, and they were just down the street from where my son was killed. And we were not looking for information for eyewitnesses. Even our attorney said we had done a good job of trying to gather information. And I think that the police departments prolong their investigations as long as they can. And I believe the Justice Department just rubber stamps whatever those local jurisdictions say. So I'm telling you, don't believe what the Justice Department says either, unless you can apply pressure to them. And of course, their standard for bringing a case for civil rights against offenders or police officers is very high. So maybe that's why you don't get the indictments or having the police officers charged. I say if you're a crooked police officer, get off the force.
Yeah.
And if there are other people who have positions and prosecutors and they don't want to prosecute, they need to find another job.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that says you have to be a policeman for life. And I have a picture over there in that the second person that was killed, you guys say you don't see white faces. Well, this was a white man that was killed by the black officer who killed my son. And I've been in touch with his mother. She's been away. She didn't protest. I think she was a little timid or afraid. But our attorney said, do what you feel like you have to do. Just be careful of what you say so that it doesn't come back to you. But you know how people try to change your words, so we were careful of what we said. But they always try to demonize the person who has been killed.
Yeah.
I think we're time right there. Thank you so much. I appreciate everybody who comes out and all of those who are lying on the ground and who do the marching. A movement is coming and it's going to bring about change. Long live all the sons, the memories of our sons. God bless you.